you talk to AI, or I try and talk to AI as I would talk to a computer, more technical. I structure my prompts, I structure everything from a technical point of view, rather than just talking like a human.
Yeah.
And it makes a huge difference in the results. And that's the same when you talk with engineers. If you say, I want a product so that people can record their email address, right? It's different if you were to say, we want to build a email capture field, but we're going to have 10,000 users coming to this website every day. What does that mean for performance? What does that mean for the underlying infrastructure? What does that mean, for privacy and security? So you can frame these things a bit different. And that technical knowledge, apply this to AI, even though vibe coding, you don't need to know tech. I still believe it's beneficial to know those things because you can
Hugely
prompt more specific and get better results in general.
Hugely. It's that when you start to prompt, it's even going to the extent of what does good not look like, when you're trying to give it that guidance and that insight as well as all the technical know-how.
I'm going to be bold and say prompting is 90% of what quality of result you will get.
Yeah.
Like I said in the beginning, I've been using ChatGPT the way I would use Google. Hey, can you build me a website to do email input or whatever? Nowadays, what I've learned is talk to AI like a machine, format in a structured way.
Yeah.
But also I split my prompts into 3 different components. One is like the pre-work, where I give it background information, where I explain things, reference to previous work, all these kind of things. And then ask AI to come back with what it understood, what the potential outcome would be if this would be used to implement a new feature, functionality, whatever. What does that mean to risk? Ask me questions. So it's a two-way street for me, right? Like we ask AI a lot of questions, but I always say, hey, what did you understand? What questions would you need to ask if your role was to be a UX designer, a software engineer? So give it a role. The result I'm getting from this first prompt will then help me understand how AI thinks based on what I have been given in terms of information, and then be able to challenge it or pivot it before I implement something that breaks. Then I do the implementation prompt itself as in now implemented. Make sure you follow XYZ rules. Make sure you don't touch this. Remember last time we had, X problem. Remember it's for this customer to the point. And yes, you can outsource this into like rule files. Like this is a mobile first application. So 70% of users will use mobile first. How does that impact your coding structure, whatever?
Yep.
Once this is done, the third and last prompt is, what have we, not AI, but what have we learned from it? As in, should I have prompted differently? What has AI learned in it? And that will be then documented in a rules file. Like for auction, but I think my rules file is now 3 pages long. And I have multiple files, but it basically helps me to set rules for a specific project, for a specific prompt, references, so I don't need to type it every time. But the prompting itself takes the most time, and sometimes I fall back into, it's going to be right.
Yeah.
And then that's where things go south. So prompt structure, prepare, execute, learn.